Asa, Mimi, it is so good to see you guys back on our screens.
Thanks.
Good,
Nice
thank
to see
you.
you there.
As I said, I love seeing you guys back. Asa, what is it like for you when you turn up on that first day on set? Is it like the summer holidays are over and you're just starting a new term at school?
No, well, I mean, this season, everyone was coming out of obviously the pandemic. So I think we were all just excited to be busy again and working and being with in a group of people. And being a part of being back on the show that we all really love doing. So it was had a real amazing atmosphere when we first came back, because not only the actors but most of the crew will come back as well, just because we have so much fun on this job. So it was more like, I don't know what it was like, but it was great. It was great to be back.
Mimi, what about you? Because I was so excited to see Ruby take, I suppose, center stage a little bit more. What was your reaction when producers told you which way your character was going this season?
It's hard. You don't really know until you get the script, and then it changes, a lot from when you first get it to when it's done. So it was probably when I read it at first that I realized what was going to be happening. And because you never know, obviously we saw a bit of that in the season before, but you don't know whether it's going to carry over or not. But I was really excited because, it's a whole new side of Ruby that I get to explore and that the audience get to see, which I've been hoping to be able to do since the beginning, although it's nice to play someone who's a bit meaner because it's fun, but
Yeah.
It's nice to do those emotional scenes and expand on the character in that way. So yeah, I was very happy.
I'm so glad you brought up the emotional scenes, because everyone, when they talk about sex education, they tend to talk about the physical scenes, right? But I think the physical scenes must be tough to film, but I'd say those emotional scenes, and there were so many of them, how tough are they to film, Asa? And how do you feel at the end of them? Like when the director calls cut, the tears don't just stop flowing then. Like you can't turn off the emotions just like that, can you?
I think this season in particular, I think the emotional scenes were definitely harder than the more physical ones. I think we're all very used to the kind of, well, I mean, obviously the intimacy that we do in the show, but there's often a lot of running. Otis gets sort of battered around a lot, and I have a lot of fun doing those scenes. And then you almost forget that there is this whole emotional weights and depth to this show. Because it's easy to get just caught up in the comedy and all of that. So there were some scenes which I found particularly tough this season. It took a bit of time just to figure out and work on with the director that was Ronnie Raro or Ben. And it's hard to know. I mean, you kind of you give what you give, and then that's about it. And then until you see it on the big screen, you're just sort of hoping that it comes across.
Mimi, how do you decompress after a day like that, after a day where there is so much emotion? As I said to Asa, like when the director calls cut, you can't just turn off the tears like that and stop feeling the emotions just like that, can you?
I mean, for me, while I'm in the scene, because obviously we don't just do one take, we do quite a few, and others are going to be your favorites. I think while I'm in the scene and I'm doing it, I like to sort of stay in that place and keep it there, because you want to stay in it in order for it to come across authentic. But once we're done and hopefully everyone's happy with what we've got, it's such a good feeling, although you've been doing something emotional and sad and you've sort of got yourself into a little bit of state, as it were, but it's quite fun, I find. But after it's done and you've got that take and you hope that that's going to come across the way that you've been planning, it's for me, it's a real high. Like I feel really, really actually quite happy and excited afterwards for people to see it if it's gone the way that I planned, which usually, luckily, it does. So yeah, for me, actually, it's a bit of a high for me.
Well, it definitely did. I binged this series in 3 days. And at the end of it, I have to say, I was feeling really sad saying goodbye to the characters. Asa, how did you feel at the end of all of this?
Well, it's always sort of bittersweet at the end of the season, because we do have so much fun. And as toward the end, you definitely get that sort of, especially this season, it was a longer shoot than usual. And so we're into sort of like the winter months. We're in February, and we're all, I think, obviously going off to our respective parts of the world at the end of the show. And it is sad. It's sad to say goodbye, because we got ourselves a sort of family there, which is cool, and we're really lucky that we get on so well.
Mimi, what will you take from being a part of sex education?
In general, or just
yeah?
God, that's hard to say just one thing. I think just I feel very lucky, really, to be able to be a part of something so sort of groundbreaking in a way. You know, it's very different, and I think that's why it resonates with people. But for me, I think just probably the whole experience in itself, going to work, meeting all the people that I've met and making the friends that I've made, and creating something that hopefully will, you know, it will stay with people, is what we hope, and change the way that people think about things. So probably just feel very lucky to have been involved.
I have to wrap here, but just before I go, is there going to be a season 4?
It's not a question for us.
I'm really hoping.
We will. I hope so.
Look, I hope I'm talking to you for season 4. Thank you so much for your time. And if I don't, thank you for sex education. It is brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.